Gospel singer Kiera Shear tells Page 6 that when her girlfriend comes to visit, she makes them stay at a hotel to keep them away from her husband.
Who remembers a time when Kiera Sheard was literally torn apart by the internet because Page 6 had published an article and they were alleging that Kiera Sheard said that whenever her friends were visiting her in town, she wouldn't allow them to stay at her place with her husband, and the internet was not feeling that at all. It was torn apart. Some people were siding with her, but majority of the people that I saw were calling her out because they interpreted her saying that as her acknowledging or saying that she didn't trust her husband. And some also thought like, well, she was listening to the olden tales of the aunties where they say that keep the temptation away from your husband, thereby looking at men as if they are just children. Now, today's video is something sort of similar to this concept. We're going to talk about betrayal, not just from a partner, a romantic partner rather, but also even from close friends. I was literally shocked when I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw several videos from ladies who came through with the same concept of a friend sleeping with a husband, sleeping with a partner. And I was like, what is going on in today's world? This type of betrayal, unfortunately, has layers to it. It is double betrayal. In Kiera Sheard's case, I do believe that people were not looking at the bigger picture. I don't think that it was meant to come from a point of you protecting your man from cheating. Because let's be honest, if someone does not have self-respect or discipline, no amount of shielding him or her will change that. They will basically be who they are. Even if you don't come with your friends at home, they will find another person to cheat on you with. However, that being said, I do feel like the olden aunties, when they were talking about concepts like this, it was not about him not cheating at all, but it was about protecting yourself from double hurt or rather double betrayal. Because if your husband or partner betrays you with your friend, who are you going to go and vent to? Who are you going to go and pour your heart out to? Who is going to come and console you? So basically, it's a loss of two people. Now, one would argue if your friend is the type of friend that would do such a disgusting thing, maybe you don't need to keep them around, which I agree with. And one would also argue if your husband is capable of doing such a despicable thing, maybe you shouldn't be together, which I do agree with. However, sometimes we do not always have the discernment to see who is capable of doing something and who is not capable of doing something. Let's be honest, ladies, how many times have we befriended certain people and then only to later on realize that, in fact, this person didn't have my back as I thought. Without further ado, let us dive right straight into this first story.
Okay, so boom. I was friends with a girl who was secretly messing with, sleeping with, smashing, all that with somebody that I was dating. And recently this girl had reached out to me trying to rekindle our friendship. Of course, I'm not going for that, so it calls for a story time for y'all. Now, this girl has never been talked about on my page, so for this story, we just gonna call her P. Now, P was a friend I met at work. Now, P was a pick-me kind of girl.
Okay, let's hold on there. The first red flag, pick me, pick-me-sha. Each time you befriend a pick-me-sha, you are doing an injustice to yourself. Because one thing about them pick-me-shas is they do not care. They just want attention from any kind of man. So if they want attention from any and every man, what makes you think that they're not going to want attention from a man that so belongs to you? They will eat up that man alive. They just want anything with the ding-a-ling-a-lee, okay? But anyway, let's hear some of the red flags that this creator might have ignored.
Anytime we went anywhere, people would be like, oh, is that guy looking at me? Or should I go say something to that guy or this guy? And even when we didn't go nowhere, she had a roster like nobody's business. And the guys that she would be talking to, there'll be guys that are kind of sort of not be in her league, but I don't know how to, they'll be like scammers. They'll be like dirty, but they got money. You know what I'm saying? But they put that stuff on. You know what I'm saying? But P was the same way. She'll put that stuff on. But it was because she had the money to scam. P ain't had no job or nothing. So the year that I met P, I was going through a major breakup. And for a while, I didn't talk to or entertain nobody. Because I simply won over my ex and I was not about to do that. Because if he told me to come home, that's what I was going to do back then. So then around the time I was ready to date again, I met this guy. And we're going to call him RJ because he never was talked about on this page. So we're just going to give him that name. Me and RJ, we really hit it off really good. Like, we would go on dates. He would buy me food. He would take me out, like, all the time. Okay, so, like, anytime me and him would be on the phone, P would always make herself known or say something to him, which I didn't care about because she did that with everybody. And, like, after a while, P...
So in this case, I really do feel like if you're a friend of someone and they're seeing someone new, you wait for a cue from them to introduce you to their significant other. I do feel like at times people tend to want to surpass that. And most times when you see a friend that is so nosy that even when you go on a first date, they want to know the person. They're following the person on Instagram. They're like, show me the person. That is a major red flag, okay? There's one thing being nosy, and there is also another thing being a monitoring spirit. And we cast that in the name of Jesus. Anyway, let's hear what this person has to say again.
He was like, oh my gosh, friend, like, you've been so happy lately. Like, I want to meet him. And me being me, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, I don't care. Because I'm like, okay, P, you could get one of your scammers and we can all go and your scammer can pay for everything. So P like, okay, yeah, like, we could set that up. So the day that we all went out, we went downtown. Now, the guy that P came with, he wasn't very, like, attentive that night. It didn't really seem like he wanted to be there. Unless he was, like, kissing and hugging on P. Like, that's about it. And, like, whenever P would go off or, like, go to order food or something like that, or go to the bathroom maybe, or fix her makeup or something like that, he'll have some girl messaging him. But that's for, like, a whole nother story. But anyway, while the night is still young, he decides that he's going to leave. And P's like, okay, that's okay. Like, I'm here with my friend and her dude. You know, we having fun anyway. So P decides, let's go to the bar. Mind y'all, I don't drink. P don't drink. The guy don't drink. Now I'm starting to feel like, okay, P, you showing out a little bit. But I never said nothing. I'm just seeing, like, how far she gonna take it, even if she's showing out. Because sometimes I always take stuff too personal. Maybe she not showing out. Maybe she really want to have a good time because her man just dished her. So I'm like, okay, cool. And as we're walking, P's like, let me talk to him for a second. And I'm like, okay. She's like, yeah, I just need to feel him out for a second. And if you don't know what that means, it's basically like when your parents tell you can't go nowhere because they want to meet their parents or they got to feel them out. That's what she was referring to. So I'm just like, okay, I don't care. Now, P and him are talking or whatever the case may be. So, like, after they had their little conversation, P wasn't really giving, like, thirsty vibes no more. It was kind of seeming like she didn't really like him like that. And when we got back to her house, she kind of mentioned, like, she's not feeling him like that. And I'm like, P, he's not for you to feel. You know what I'm saying? Because this supposed to be my man. I'm the one that been bonding with him, not you. She was like, you're right. He just seemed really thirsty. And I'm just like, oh. Because P was also somebody who just thought every single man was on her body. She thought everybody was thirsty. Even somebody that didn't even come up and talk to her.
Okay. Already multiple red flags. There are women who are like that, who literally feel like if a man is nice to them, if a man is kind to them, the man wants them. And you have to watch out for that bunch, okay? Because they make up scenarios in their heads. One of these days, I'm going to tell you a story about my own experience with people like these. They literally feel like every man has to be on their behind. And the moment they don't get that attention, guess what they're going to do? They're going to try to prove, I don't know, to themselves or to other people that they can get that man. And boy, oh boy, befriending that type of a person, introducing that type of a person, it's a disaster. Just like this.
Even come up and talk to her. She'd be like, yeah, I know he want to talk to me. He just playing hard to get. Like, she was like one of them type of people. So her calling him thirsty, I'm just brushing her off. So like a few months go by and me and RJ established that we're dating now. Like, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. You know, we just seeing where things are going. And he ended up giving me a necklace. Now, this necklace is like a pink heart-shaped necklace. From where, I don't know, but I was grateful for it. Now, when I got around P and I was showing her this necklace, she was saying like, oh, I know exactly where he got that necklace from. That necklace is not a real necklace. And I'm like, girl, I don't care. I don't care where it came from. It was a gift and I like it. And he ain't have to spend $1,000 on no necklace. He could have spent $1,000 on some food. I would have been way more grateful for that meal. But I like the necklace. So I want to say after this whole necklace situation, maybe like a month goes by. And I'm starting to come over P house a little more because she started going through whatever she was going through with one of her 50 guys on the roster. And he must have been her favorite because she was really going through it. Now, this particular night I came over her house. She was like in and out the house. So she'll be like, hey, let's watch a movie. We watch a movie. She'll be like, oh, I have to run downstairs and do something for my mom real quick. And then she wouldn't come back for like 20 minutes later. But she had like a really good taste in movies. So even if she was gone longer than 20 minutes, I'm not paying attention. I'm watching TV. And then when she missed the movie, I'll be like, oh my God, girl, you missed the movie. You got to rewatch this. And I'll rewatch it too because it was just that good. Not even knowing this girl was just gone for 2 hours. And I swear it felt like 30 minutes. Anyway, she comes back and she has hickeys on her neck. Not only do she got hickeys on her neck, she has the same kind of necklace that I had with the pink heart.
Okay, y'all. So you heard that. It seems like this man was now gifting the same gifts that this girl would get, her friend would get. Now, at this point, is this even a friend? I don't know if she's supposed to even call this person a friend, because to me, she sounds like a nemesis, an arch enemy. That's exactly who this girl is. Because how are you going to say that you're my friend and behind my back you're doing obsessive ish like that? Okay, you guys could have had your affair, but what's up about you twinning with me, getting the same gifts from my man? That's absolute insanity. But anyway, let's listen to the part two.
Okay, so boom, part two. After a while, it came repetitive, and I hope that's the word. And if it ain't, I'm gonna go into detail. So after I started to notice that everything he was getting me, she was getting the same thing. It just wasn't around the same time. Like for example, if I got a ring early in the month, she got a ring late in the month, and I still wasn't paying that much attention to it. I mean, at some point, I did get kind of curious. So I'm like, friend, who is tricking out for you? And my friend is just like, oh, this boy, we can just call him Pretty Boy. But she didn't really give me no information about this dude. She didn't tell.
You see? Do you see how weird this is? As soon as this girl started to look happy in, I don't know if I should call it a relationship, but as soon as this girl was looking happy in the new situation that she was with, the other friend felt obligated to know the guy. You get it? She wanted the details. She wanted to have the talk with the guy, or acting like she was trying to be, to look out for her friend, because you guys know that sometimes when you're the one who's in love or when you're seeing someone, you don't see the red flag. There's absolutely nothing wrong with someone from your side having a conversation with that person to see how sincere that person is. But to me, what's already standing out in this situation is the other friend was so nosy. I'm not gonna even say curious. She was nosy to know who this girl's boyfriend was. But now, when she's getting the literal same gifts, when she's also happy in her situation that she has, she's being secretive about it. Do you see the double standards? Do you see the red flag? They want to know every detail about your life, but they don't want to spill when it comes to them. Watch out for friends like that.
Me when they start talking, if they ever linked up, if they ever went out on a date. She was just making like he was just sending her gifts just because he liked her so much. And me being her friend, I'm living for it. Up until me and my best friend went to the mall. So me and my friend, we in a store called Winsler. Now, when we get ready to check out, I noticed that I left my wallet. So we went back to my friend. Now, why I wasn't using Apple Pay? I didn't even know Apple Pay was a thing until this year. So I would always be walking around with multiple debit cards. But back to the story, we went to the car. Now, as I'm walking back into the mall, going towards the other entrance of the mall, I see my friend and my man holding hands. So me being me, I'm like, that is not them. Like, it can't be them. Like, why would it be them? Girl, it was them. So my best friend is like, FaceTime her. FaceTime her about 3 times. She didn't answer. She texted me. And she was like, I'm going to have to call you back. I'm asleep. And I was like, oh, okay. Now, that whole day, I didn't hear from the guy till maybe like 11 p.m. He wasn't talking about nothing. He was just talking about how he was so tied up with work. But he did have a surprise for me. Now, this was probably like on a Tuesday. So I'm just like, okay, I'll see you Friday, because I wanted to go to my friend's house. So I get to my friend's house on Wednesday. And I was going to stay until Friday, because what I needed to do required me to be around her for more than just a few hours. So fast forward to the end of the night. It's time for my friend to get in the shower. She gets in the shower. Now, every time my friend got in the shower, she used to always leave her phone on the dresser. Not only that, she used to be in the shower for hours, maybe like an hour.
Hold on. She still went to the friend's house? The one that she saw in the afternoon with the boyfriend at the mall? Girl, she is brave. I don't think I'll be able to do that. Okay? I think I need some more emotional intelligence, because I would have blown my cover. But for her, I commend her for her composure, because I guess she wanted to find more information and more evidence, because people can be weird. Okay, they will literally be knowing what they're doing, but they can try to act like, oh, it's nothing like that. Oh, nothing like that happened. So I commend her for her composure.
30 minutes. That was more than enough time for me to go through that phone. And that's exactly what I did as soon as I heard that water turn on. Okay, part 3, we just gonna hop right into it. So where I left off is my friend, she got in the shower, and then I politely went through her phone. And when I go through a phone, I let it rain and clear it out. There was no text messages, no call logs, no cash app, no emails, no nothing. On top of it being no incriminating evidence on her phone, she didn't have no apps, like no social media apps at all. But she literally lived, breathe, and eat Snapchat. But it wasn't on her phone. So I'm just like, okay. So like immediately after I put her phone down, I hear music start to play in the bathroom. Like I told y'all, my friend would be in the shower for hours. We would have a concert. We would perform, watch the show, do all that in the shower. So I hit her music. I'm like, okay, cool. It's one of them days. She's gonna be in the shower for a good hour and 30 minutes. And y'all might not agree with this. This is what I feel like I needed to do. I was rummaging through her shit. Because a dude or a female, they're always gonna leave something behind because that's just what they do. And just like I thought, when you go looking for something, you'll find. I go in my friend's closet and there's a box in her closet. It's a cardboard box and it really just have gifts in it, but gifts for a man. And at that point, I didn't know if this was evidence or not. So I took a picture of it. Just when in doubt, I'm always going to take a picture of something. I'm a screenshot. I'm going to just do it. So I take a picture of this box and I continue to rummage through it. And then I see 2 boxes of shoes. The girl's shoe was a pair of Air Maxes or Air Ones or whatever they call. They just like a real popular shoe that people will get over and over, but they're just all white shoes. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even get to see what the man's shoe looked like because my friend Mama had came in there asking me like, oh, what do y'all want to eat tonight? And all this extra stuff. And then it just made me feel like that was a sign to just get out of her shit. I took a picture of them white shoes, hurry up, close it up, close the closet, and I sat down. And then like 5 minutes later, my friend music stopped on the phone. She come out the bathroom. Mind you, like I said, she always in the shower for like an hour to 30 minutes. It wasn't even 30 minutes. It probably was like 15 minutes. Like I moved quick. And within that time frame, I took a picture of those shoes, those gifts, the receipt because I needed to see the date this happened. I needed to overlook everything that was bought and for what reason. So when my friend came out, like I said, she's just like, what you doing? And I'm like, oh, I was just leaving. Mind you, I was supposed to be spending the night. But I had a case that needed to be cracked, so I left.
Okay, I'm just gonna give it to her. She has so much composure. If it were me, I think I wouldn't have confronted the friend, to be honest. I think I would have just quietly removed myself from the situation. But the problem with removing yourself is there are people who have audacity, okay? They legit know what they have done, but they will act like they don't know. I had a friend like that. Like, oh my God, what did I do? Shut up. You know what you did. You don't deserve my explanation. Like, closure for what? When you were betraying me, did you give me closure? No. So move on. Anyway, let's listen to part 4.
Okay, so part 4, we just gonna get right into it. So basically, I went back home and just reviewed all the photos that I had took. And from those photos, I found out that the receipt, it dated back to the day that I told y'all that I was at the mall. And I thought I'd seen them. And then after that, I just went radio silent for like 2 days because I just was like, girl, what? Now, normally, when I used to go radio silent, people would pop up on me unannounced. Because I was a little suicidal queen. I was a little depressed. I was a little bit of everything. But never once was it a boyfriend that ever popped up on me to check up on me or nothing like that. But that was until later that day. My boyfriend at the time, he had pulled up on me with some food, girl. And me being me, I'm not missing no meal. Like, I don't care how I'm feeling. He had asked me to get in his car because he said he wanted to talk to me about something. I get in, and he basically say, I want to talk to you about your friend. And I'm like, okay, what about her? And he basically brought up the day that we all 3 hung out, and she said she had to feel him out. He said that day she gave him a bad feeling, and that he really don't like her, and he don't like me being friends with her. And I'm just like, okay. And then I'm like, not to be messy, but I mean, she wasn't fond of you either after y'all had whatever conversation it is that y'all had. And I'm going to tell you, like I told her, she's not for you to like. That's not your friend. That's my friend. And then he said to me, it's either going to be me or her. And me being me, I'm not going to get in no situation like that. So I said to him, I think it's time for me to go. And he had the audacity to say, I agree. Now, when I reached for the door, I noticed that it was something in the door handle. But at the moment, I'm not trying to make a scene. I'm trying to get out his car like he told me to do. So whatever it was that was in the car handle, I just pick it up as I'm getting out the car and I just stick it in my pocket. So then he just sped off. Like, he didn't even give me time to close the door all the way. Like, he literally took my food that he bought me and everything. So then I just
The audacity, the audacity of this man. Like, oh my God. Pick who? I'm dropping both of you. You and that loser's friend. I'm dropping both of you. What do you mean, pick? What do you mean? And him taking the food? That's petty AF. Like, boy, what are you doing? Anyway.
in the house. And as soon as I got in the house, I pulled out whatever it was that was in his car out of my pocket and I looked at it. Now, it was a female's nail, but I seen these nails before. And at the time, I couldn't remember if I had seen it on Instagram or like where I seen these nails from, but I knew this nail. So then I go on Instagram. I'm looking at all the wrong places up until I go onto Snapchat. So then I come across a snap. It was when my friend had a party, but this party took place a year before I met this boy. And in the video, she got on these same nails. However, she was missing like an index finger. She had a Band-Aid on it in the video. And at that moment, I just powered my phone off.
This is a plot twist that I didn't see coming. Okay, guys, so unfortunately, there isn't part 5 of this creator's story. I really did think that the story concluded at part 4. I promise you, I hadn't watched it just so we can have an authentic reaction. But let me know in the comment section, you guys, what could have this friend done to avoid this? And is she to blame for everything that went down? Personally, I do feel like regardless of the situation, if the friend had met the guy before the other friend started dating the guy, I do feel like if you're a good friend, you just get to tell the friend, well, this is a man that I'm dealing with. Now, I don't know if it's some sick game that they were playing or what exactly this is. Whatever the case is, it's absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, let's watch this next one.
My husband fell in love with my best friend. Now ex-husband, ex-best friend, but they fell in love. It's now been 4 years, and I wanted to share a very important lesson that I learned. The people that are meant to be in your life will be in your life. Nothing will stop them from simply being in your life. If it's so easy for someone to leave, then they were never truly meant to be with you long term anyways. Also, I see people begging people to stay in their life. You really want someone in your life that you have to beg for? No, thank you. And if you're really fighting for someone to stay, don't you value and respect yourself enough to just let them go? I know that divorce is really hard, and I know that sitting in the loneliness is really hard, but it's way better than begging and pleading for someone to see your worth and your value. You are worth so much more than that, and I hope you see that. So from one heartbreak to another, I see you and I love you.
This one was certainly emotional. I mean, we didn't get the details of what had happened, but the entire idea that your husband is going to fall in love with your friend, I mean, how does that happen? Where are the boundaries? Do you now understand what Kira Shit was trying to avoid? Anyway, let's move on to the next story time.
So guys, how I found out, remember like start of COVID, school went from contact to online. So my laptop had a problem and we were writing exams. I then asked my boyfriend to borrow me his laptop. So in the morning, he comes, drops it. I think I was writing Ngabo Maten Ganj. So then I go online, I write. And now, iPhone, even MacBook has that thing of memories. So it says memories or whatever. Or it does whatever, but it's like there's a pop-up message of pictures. So I see that the small picture that's there is a picture of Unono, right? The friend Unono. I then click on that after writing. I then click on it. Then I see a whole lot of other things. I see screenshots of their conversations. I see like a whole lot of things. That's when I found out screenshots saying I really enjoyed our you tied me to the bed. Such things, right? Did I confront my boyfriend first? I think I did. I tried to keep my cool because I was really in shock. But yeah, I confronted him. He was a good apologizer, I guess, that guy. He could apologize. Confronted him, didn't deny anything. He was open about it. And then, baby girl had gone home. She had gone home in KZN.
Wait, what do you mean he was good at apologizing? Because I mean, what type of an apology would make you want to forgive a guy who did you so dirty? Like, what are you talking about? I hope you just mean that he's good at apologizing and, you feel at least that he's taking some form of accountability, but you continue with your life. Because please, I hope she does not mean that she took this guy back. Because what do you mean? Where are your manners? Like, if you're gonna cheat, maybe have a little bit of decorum whilst at it. Ivan, stop smoking this side. Your smoke is coming on my camera.
So now I send her, I take the screenshots, right? They're now on my phone. I first ask her, how long have you been sleeping with, we'll call him two-timer. How long have you been sleeping with two-timer? She's like, I'm sure this message was not meant for me. She was very rude. She's like, I'm sure this message was not meant for me. I'm like, how long are you going to deny this?
The audacity. What do you mean? What do you mean this message wasn't meant? Wait, the audacity. Like, do you think I'm a fool? Like, oh my God.
And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever. Then later I sent her a screenshot. I think she didn't answer me. Then she stayed home. She had never stayed home for more than a week, 2 weeks. unless it's December. But she stayed home for like 2 months or so. But eventually when she came back, we went to Mug and Bean. I asked them questions. I asked for a meeting with the both of them. We had a meeting.
Listen, guys. It's not everything that requires closure. Because I feel like sometimes when you have sit downs with people who have done you dirty, all you're doing is giving them a platform to justify themselves and to feel better and to relieve themselves of that guilt because they're giving you some sort of explanation. So sometimes you don't need the closure because what's that going to change? Especially now that the girl has shown you that she's really adamant. What closure do you require from people like this? Sometimes leave with dignity, delete, block, move on with your life. I promise you, after a couple of weeks, it will not hurt as much as it does today. Okay? Because what do you mean you had to sit down with them at Mag and Bean? Like, how am I going to look at you, my friend, and you, my partner, and imagine that two of you, your reproductive organs have been together? Like, please.
And Mug and Bean sets. And yeah, man, I asked questions that I needed to ask. Yeah, but I think afterwards they did continue talking, like they did, because like she said something by mistake afterwards, because I forgave her. I forgave both of them and allowed them back into my life, both of them. Kodwa Wangpinda, even though my boyfriend I'm gonna do a video on the other girl that he had a relationship with, but Ukelige, she did the most even after that.
Pinch me, I must be dreaming. Because what are you talking about? What do you mean this girl, you allowed and forgave this girl and took them back in your life? Like, whenever you see the signs, because this is not a mistake. Let's not get this confused, okay? Let us not get this twisted. This is absolutely not a mistake. It's a choice. It's a boundary that somebody has willingly and consciously crossed. I get it. We have the hearts like Jesus, but sometimes forgiveness doesn't have to mean reconciliation. And I feel like this is one of those few times where this applies. But anyway, let's listen to the next story.
I caught my husband in bed with my best friend. I had a trip. Mind you, I work from home, but I also travel for work. It was a normal work week, and I was getting ready to leave. And I had my bags packed. Everything was ready to go. I kissed him goodbye, and I told him that I'd be back on Monday, like always. Everything was going to plan, so I thought. An hour into my drive to the airport, I realized that I forgot something that was super, super crucial to my job. So I turned back around, drove an hour back home, and what I found in my room was going to completely change my life as I knew it. I open the door and I hear somebody moaning. Mind you, my husband was home alone. Or so I thought. I slowly walk into my house, open my bedroom door, and I see him on top of my best friend. I stand there in complete shock, not knowing what was going on, grab her by the hair and drag her outside. Because what the There was no time for explaining. There was no time for being nice. There was no time for shits. It was me, her, outside. Her ass naked. After that initial fight, I go inside with my husband and come to find that they've been having an affair for over a year. Mind you, there has been no signs of him being unfaithful, no messages.
What do you mean over a year? As a friend, how do you look at your friend in the eye and know that you're doing something so disgusting? Wow. At this point, I feel like this is more intense, okay? The other ones that we were watching, it was about boyfriends, but I mean your literal friend's husband. Are you telling me that you ran out of options somewhere else? And as for the husband, divorce him. Like, divorce him. Like, it doesn't even make any sense, okay? It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, let's hear the rest of the story.
Nothing like that, no sneaky energy or anything like that. He's sobbing, he's on the floor, he's on his knees, and he's saying, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. First thing that I said is, how long has this been going on, and what is your problem? I thought our marriage was fine. He said it happened at the lake. She initiated it, and it went from there. I made him explain everything.
I don't know about the she initiated it. I don't know if I buy that part, because at this point, I mean, I wouldn't trust anything that's coming out of this man's mouth. At this point, it does sound like someone who's trying to look for someone to blame. And I do not care who initiated it, okay? She might as well have walked unclad in front of you or opened her legs from this angle to that angle, but you should have that boundary, okay? Like, no matter who initiated it, that's not a factor at this point in time. What's a factor is what you guys have been doing for its entire year. She might have initiated it, but well, you dragged it out for literally a year. So at this point, it doesn't matter who initiated it. All that matters is you guys have been lying to my face and betraying me for a year. Look at me all being emotional. It's because I've had shady friends. Whilst I haven't caught anyone red-handed, I've had friends, of course, that do act weird, but not that, like, that has happened to me. But it sucks so much, because I do feel like, personally, okay, this is gonna sound controversial, but I do feel like you can replace a man easily, but I don't think you can replace a best friend, you know? Because I feel like friendship is built on trust and on openness. I mean, romantic relationships, they can be built on, first of all, attraction, and then the other things follow. But anyway, let's hear what else she has to say.
Everything in detail. Mind you, this is my best friend for over 10 years. Let's just say that. He said that every time I would go to work on a work trip, that they would meet up and they would hook up. And later to come to find out that her daughter was, yeah, his daughter.
Oh my God. What did I just watch? Okay, I don't know. I think I'm going to need therapy after this. I don't think I'm going to be able to trust anyone after this. I mean, I might as well file for divorce after this, because who can you trust in this world? I need therapy. This is traumatizing. What? Not only did they cheat, but they also procreated whilst at it. Wow. I have no words. Absolutely no words. Except men are disgusting. By the way, it's my husband that I'm looking at. He doesn't have anything to say about this anymore. But anyway, let's move on to the next video.
How I caught my boyfriend cheating with my best friend. Story time. I was in college. I was dating this boy. We had been dating for, I want to say, a few months. So he and my best friend kind of got along based on the fact that she's my best friend and he's my boyfriend. One time I noticed they were always Snapchatting, and I confronted him about it, and he got so mad at me, and it turned into a huge fight. I never really noticed anything between them until this one day we were driving like 30 minutes away to go to the grocery store, and we were just being all lovey-dovey and touchy. When I look in the back camera, I could notice that she was just flat out disgusted by us. And he always made fun of her body, and I didn't like it, but I would always tell him to stop, that it wasn't nice, but he would just be like, whatever, I'm just joking. Fast forward.
First of all, red flag. Whenever a man makes fun of a woman's body or talks down on a woman or stuff like that, most times they're trying to hide what's actually going behind the scenes. A wise woman knows that whenever her man is out there down talking another woman who is in their vicinity, open your eyes, shine your effing eyes. Because trust me, that's being done intentionally, for you to believe that, well, nothing could ever happen between the two of them. It's only the dafties that find that flattering. I'm glad that the person in this story time did not get flattered by that at all, and wasn't impressed by this behavior at all. If you have a husband and they're always talking down on a certain workmate, oh, she looks like this, oh, she's like this, girl, that's exactly who he's cheating with. But anyway, let's continue with the story.
To the end of the semester, he was moving to a new place but needed to put his things in storage, and then told me he was going over to the storage facility to secure the place. A few hours later, I hadn't heard from him, so I decided to call him to see what was going on. After about 2 hours of not being able to get a hold of him, he finally called me back. He tells me with a lot of frustration in his voice that his storage had fallen through and that he had to find a new storage facility that same night. I felt so sorry for him, but as a good girlfriend, I decided I was going to show up unannounced at his place and made him dinner just to make his day better. I showed up to his place and I noticed there was his car and another car that I did not recognize. I rang the doorbell a few times and there was no answer, but I decided to just sit down and wait for him because I thought maybe he was in the shower. Then I noticed the lights in his room came on and I saw him and another girl, not dressed, and I was in shock. Long story short, he said goodbye to the girl and then came after me. He told me to let him explain, and I did because I was young and dumb. Then I told him I was gonna go out of town for the weekend just to clear my head. I went away for the weekend, and on my way back, I utilized a ride share. The driver for the ride share let me know that he was going to stop at a gas station and pick up a girl whose boyfriend was dropping her off. The next thing I see, my best friend getting out of my boyfriend's car. She was the person.
What? I cannot believe this. What? For a moment, oh my God. For a moment, I thought it was a different girl. Wow.
We were waiting for all this while. Go to part 2 because the video is getting too long. Part 2 of how I caught my boyfriend cheating with my best friend. If you haven't seen the part 1, please go back and watch it. We get to the gas station and we're sitting there waiting, and the next thing I see, my boyfriend's car pulls up. He is dropping off my best friend. So in other words, my best friend would have spent the weekend with my boyfriend. When I saw my best friend walk out of that car, my jaw hit the floor. The worst part of this whole thing is I had to sit next to her for a 4-hour drive where we just sat next to each other and spoke no words. 4 hours later, we got to our destination and I decided I had to confront her. She essentially agreed to cheating with my boyfriend, but wasn't really forthcoming about more information. I decided to tell her that I had caught him just the weekend before with another girl, and when I saw how distraught she was, I thought my job was done. I walked away from that friendship and that relationship just knowing that I had nothing else to give. A few months later, I got me a new man. I don't know how things ended with both of them, but I know they did not end up together. Just remember, if he cheats with you, he is going to cheat on you. And also remember, karma is a bitch. Okay guys, bye.
Clock it. Now, this is the energy that I like, okay? This one, we need her to speak at the women's conference, okay? This is definitely the energy we need. Because guess what? She also had to make sure that the girl, the friend, finds out that the same man was cheating on her and her with another girl. Bravo, okay? I salute her. Now, let's look at the last story and then we can conclude this video.
So I'm supposed to go out, I'm not going out anymore, so I thought let me give you a story time. A time when my man cheated on me, or my ex. So basically I had this boyfriend, right? And he was like to me, oh, you know, let's come down to Birmingham for the weekend. My brother's got his house there. It's going to be lit. Bring a friend. I was like, okay, cool. Let me bring a friend. I met this girl at my friend's birthday party. All my friends were like, you should be friends with her because you guys are so similar. You have a daughter that's the same age, you're from the same country, whatever. So I was like, yeah, cool. She actually was a vibe. Like, we started hanging out, we were talking every single day. We became really close friends very quickly. So I decided to invite her with me to Birmingham. So when we got to Birmingham, it was lit. Like, we played drinking games, it was fun. And then it was time to go to bed. When it was time to go to bed, she miraculously said, well, not miraculously, but she said she didn't bring no nightwear, so she needed something from the brother. The brother gave her something to wear. Obviously, it was like some short top, like jersey top and whatever, and she was happy to wear it. And then she was like, oh, should I put my fishnet tights on with this? I thought it was a bit weird, but I was just like, girl, I don't know. Anyways, I got downstairs now. She's wearing this skimpy little, jersey top to go to bed. Meanwhile, my man at the time is sitting on the stairway and she's sitting opposite the stairway and I'm sitting in front of the stairway. But they're both on their phones. Both, I don't know what they're doing. They're just both on their phones. Everyone's on their phone, to be honest, because, we're young peoples. So my guy's like, listen, let's go to bed, guys. Time to go to bed, lights out. Get to the bedroom now. My man says to me, are you thirsty? Do you want some water? I was like, yeah, babe, please. Can you get me some water, please? Cool. While he's downstairs, I'm getting ready for bed. I'm lying down, lights are off, cool. Someone comes in the room. Well, I thought it was my man that came in the room. They lean over and give me a kiss. And I'm thinking, oh, babe. It weren't babe. It was his brother. When I realized it was his
Know if this is the same, we're still on theme with this video, because what the hell is the brother now doing in a room and trying to kiss her? Are you sure we're still on the same thing? Because her title says, I caught my man cheating on me with my friend. So where's the brother in this entire equation? Oh my God. Let's hear what else she has to say.
brother. I was like, excuse me, what are you doing? Get off me. And he wasn't even shocked. He just backed out of the room. I get out of bed now to go and find my man to tell him like what's going on, like where are you, where's the water, and to like kind of tell him what's going on, you know. Get downstairs to the kitchen, lights are off, and I'm thinking, why the lights off? My man went to go and get me water. I turn the lights on. What do I see? What do I see? Girl, my friend supposedly bent over the table, fishnets that she had on down. My man behind her. They both turn and look at me and they're like, and I literally backed on off out of the kitchen. I said sorry and I backed up. Why the hell did I say sorry? Watch out for part 2. I'm gonna give you the
Okay, I don't know. I don't know if this is still in the same conversation with us, because now it seems like the brothers wanted to swap the women. At this point, I don't know what the fluid swapation is going on. I think some people are watching a little bit of too much corn, if you ask me. Because what is this? The brother's trying to kiss the girl, and the other brother is out there trying to... I don't know if we should even watch part 2, because what is going on? Okay, I think let's look for another story. Okay, so this one we're not gonna watch in detail because it has so many parts, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read out the caption, and I will also post a video that this lady took after she had found out what had happened. So the caption here says, part 5. She said, this is a month and a half after I found out my boyfriend slept with my best friend in 2020. I kept it a secret from everyone. They both didn't know that I saw the 2-hour-long video of them doing it. It was eating me up so bad. I would set up the phone and just cry, talk to myself to help myself feel better, because I couldn't tell nobody. This is so triggering for me to rewatch 4 years later. I'm just upset looking back and seeing myself this heartbroken and betrayed. And I think this video clearly explains why I said to you, your man cheating on you with a random girl and your man cheating on you with your friend are 2 different things. Because if the former happens, you can always go to your friends for comfort. But if the latter happens, who do you run to? Because your friend is also, a part of the situation. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I say, that I do feel like the olden aunties, when they would say that separate the two, your husband and your friends, this is what they were talking about. They knew that that's such a heartbreak that is difficult to handle, because it is double betrayal. If this girl hadn't found her man cheating on her with her friend, she could have called a friend and told her what was going on. But in this scenario, who does she talk to? Granted, you could always talk to, family, but I do feel like with certain situations like this, friendships are intentional than family. You get it? It takes a lot of intentionality to build a relationship as that of a best friend. So it's rather sad. But let's watch a little clip of what she's saying in this video. Absolutely heartbreaking. This is not one of those things where you just, it's heartbreaking.
I cry every single night, every single morning, every single day since a month and a half since I found out, bro. It don't feel good, bro. It don't feel good to know all the stuff that I know. To know that I'm still letting myself go through it. Bro, I can't do it by myself. All this trauma, it hurt. You caused me my heart, bro. My heart feels so broken. I never felt more heartbroken in my life, bro. I swear to God, bro. I swear. I never felt this worse in my life. And the fact that I'm still trying to be right with you and make things right. And just try and forget about everything, even though I'm never gonna forget. Nothing's ever gonna be the same. The consequences that comes with the stuff that you do, bro, because I don't know how you expect to do that stuff. Expect me to be okay. To expect me to not cry, to expect me to not be insecure, to expect me to trust you when you did that to me.
Who is expecting her to act like everything is normal? Who is expecting her to just forgive her and act like it's nothing? What? I I this is the part that I don't understand. But then again, I understand with women that it takes time for them to detach from other people. So maybe she just needed this time to detach from this guy because that literally caught her unawares. But I don't think it's a situation that, for me, I think it's one of those situations that I would rather experience the hurt and the heartbreak away from those people. I would rather look for closure away from those people because what are you talking about? Expecting me to act normal, expecting me to act natural after something this tragic? That's absurd. Well, there you heard all these tragic stories, and I am, for the record, in no way, shame, or form trying to tell you to not trust your friends. But all I'm just going to say to you is be cautious with who you keep around, not just around your partner or your husband, but around yourself. Because imagine if they can do this to something as sensitive as a relationship, imagine what they can do when it comes to other relationships that you have, work relationships, or really things that are about to happen in your life, great things that you're working towards. Because I do strictly believe that a friend who's capable of doing something like this to you has pure disdain for you. No normal person would ever do this on a friend. As for the husband or the partner, discard. Discard, okay? Trash, trash, trash. Throw away. I do feel like discarding a man is the easiest thing anyone can do. Pick, poop. You're done with that. As for the friend, discard also. But all I'm going to say is that it is not a question of who is to be held accountable between the husband and the friend or between the partner and the friend. I do feel like both of them should be held accountable. And I know that other people try to say that, well, your partner owes you more loyalty. I beg to differ. But let me know in the comment section what you think about this entire situation. And also, that being said, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. I give you a new video every Tuesday and every Friday. So please do stay tuned for the next video that's going to be coming around. And please, if you also have a story of your own that pertains to something like this happening to you, let me know in the comment section what you think about that. And would you forgive your friend if they were to betray you like that? As for the men, it's no question, no forgiveness. I know there are people that like to forgive cheating, so I'm not going to impose my beliefs on anyone. But I personally do believe that as you discard the friend, discard the partner as well. Throw both of them away. I feel like if you deal with one side and leave the other one, then you're not doing anything. But do not forget to subscribe. My director or my fake director right now is telling me that, we have recorded too much footage. So until the next one, see you.